Hi, Simon Dixon here, founder of banktothefuture.com. I'm here reporting at the Institute for Social Banking, and we've just had a presentation from Ben Dyson. Ben Dyson's the CEO and founder of Positive Money, which is a not-for-profit research and education campaign focusing on the fundamental flaws in the banking system. And he's just given a presentation right now on some of the reforms that Positive Money are proposing and campaigning for, as well as the flaws in the system. So Ben, why don't you tell us what's wrong with the banking system?
Well, the main flaw with the banking system is that banks, the big banks that we have seen have caused so much damage recently, actually have the power to create money. When they make loans, it creates brand new money, effectively out of nothing through an accounting process. And the reality is that we have to borrow all of the money we need to run the economy from the banks, which guarantees a profit for them and guarantees that we're in debt.
Okay, so what would you say to someone that may not be aware of the intricacies of the banking system, that just doesn't believe you that banks actually create money? I mean, is this a common fact? Is it commonly known? Or?
It's commonly understood in banking circles. They teach it in university, but they don't really go into the implications. But there's some quotes from high-ranking people in the banking sector. For example, Martin Wolf, the chief economics editor of the Financial Times, described it this way. He said, "The essence of the contemporary monetary system is the creation of money out of nothing by private banks, often foolish lending."
So if I went to my economics teacher at university and said that banks create money, would he agree? Would that be a reaction? Or?
What he would probably say is, yes, they do, but it's strictly controlled by the Bank of England or the central bank. And what the research that we've done has discovered is that it's not really under the control of the central bank anymore. I mean, you saw in the crisis they just lent and lent and lent until everybody was in debt and house prices went through the roof. And actually this system is out of control now.
Okay, so everything we're seeing about regulations and Basel III and all the other stuff that we're hearing about on the TV, in your opinion, is that going to solve the crisis? Is this going to get us any further?
It's not. It's about patching up a system that's fundamentally broken. You know, if you think Basel III is like the government requiring all cars to have airbags and then saying, well, we can turn off the traffic lights because everybody's protected. It's not actually going to change anything fundamental.
Okay. So what changes do we need?
Well, we need to take away this power to create money that the banks have, and you can do this by implementing something called full reserve banking.
Okay, wasn't that something, I think it was Irving Fisher that presented this many years ago, I remember in my economics days?
It's an idea that came from the 1930s after the Great Depression. It was brought out by Irving Fisher. It's been endorsed by people like Milton Friedman, James Tobin, more recently James Kay, and Martin Wolf.
So why aren't we talking about this?
It's a complex system, and a lot of people just haven't taken the time to do the research. In order for us to really figure out how the system works, we had to go through 500 documents from the Bank of England. And most economists, most journalists just don't have the time to do that.
So what happens if we don't do this?
If we don't do it, we're going to see the debt going up. We're going to see the financial crisis getting worse. We're going to see that the banks are actually fundamentally bankrupt and that governments can no longer afford to rescue them.
Okay, so I mean, all these people talking about greedy bankers and them taking so much out of the banking system, are you telling me that they're going to get the comeuppance one day and their institution is going to go actual bankrupt? Or?
Well, a lot of these big banks are really, when you look at it, not in a very good position at all. People can't afford to repay their debts, and there is a pretty good chance that these big banks will go down if they are not already bankrupt.
Okay, and any ideas on how long we've got, what that might happen? Or?
It all depends, but the economy right now and the banking sector is on a life support machine, and it depends how long governments can afford to keep that machine switched on. But you can see in Greece, you can see in Spain that things are starting to get pretty sketchy, and we could be looking at something happening in the next couple of years at least.
Okay, and so someone that's interested in this topic, what would you suggest as a next step to finding out more, getting involved and seeing where this is going?
Well, we've got a load of videos and more information on the Positive Money website. It's positivemoney.org.uk.
Okay.
And there's an hour-long DVD there where I explain all this problem in detail that you can watch online for free, or you can download the DVD.
Okay, and so what brings you today to the Institute for Social Banking? What's the correlation there between what you're doing and maybe the social banking movement?
Yeah, the social banking movement, I think it's really important that banks are more socially responsible, more socially beneficial, rather than being socially harmful like the big PLCs. So the more that we can have social and ethical banks growing, the better. But we also need fundamental reform of the entire system, because the big banks have so much power that no matter how much ethical banking we have, those big banks will cause a huge amount of harm. And we have to fix the big banks to stop them doing that.
Okay, so you heard it here from Ben Dyson, reporting live from the Institute for Social Banking, that the banks may get their comeuppance one day. And if we don't do that, we're going to have some serious problems refinancing our economy forever. So Ben, thanks for your work.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you in other presentations.
Excellent.
Thank you.